Nemitz versus Eric Stam Team Real Estate. Have the two of you talked at all?
No.
I haven't
No?
spoken to him. However, he has contacted me after I served him with false claims of unpaid rent as well as threats.
Okay. Would it help if I give you two of you a chance to talk? You're similar, quite frankly, to the last one I just had. Not exactly, but kind of close with dates and everything else. If it would help to have two of you talk, I'll give you a second to talk.
I don't
I'd be willing to
believe
do that.
Okay.
I got one says yes. Ms. Nemitz, you want to talk to him for a sec?
I don't have anything to say to him, but if you have something to say to me, I'd be willing to speak with him.
Okay, if both of you can just be civil, let's just have you just talk for a few minutes, okay? If we can get something worked out, fine. If not, we'll just have a hearing. Hopefully yours isn't as complicated as that last one, but okay. Well, hold on, I'll put both of you back. Yeah. Okay, hold on, we'll put both of you back. Is it just the two of you, right?
Correct.
Mr. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, hold on, I'll put both of you back in the room, okay? Any possible resolutions? Anything at all, or we?
No, we just
No?
want to hear out your decision.
Okay. Nemitz, this is your claim, and I did get a chance to kind of briefly go through it. It says you're asking for a judgment for wrongful withholding of your security deposit and $300 water deposit. In a nutshell, is that it for the damages?
Yes, I would like to request double the $1,100 deposit.
Yeah, and we can get to that part too, but that's what you're asking for as far as damages plus the double based on the statutory language. Okay. All right, so let me see if I can walk you through on this. Here's a little bit simpler. And I'm sorry, Mr. Stam, is that on your end? You don't have a counterclaim, do you, on yours? I don't see one.
No.
Okay.
We
All right.
would
That
just
can
probably appeal if
makes it a little
necessary.
sure. Okay, so Miss Nemitz, let's just start out here. First, were you leasing property from I guess it's Eric Stam Team Real Estate, is that
Yes, sir.
right? Okay. Is that a doing business as or a corporation or a LLC? What is that?
It's a DBA and LLC.
Okay. So Miss Nemitz, I did see, I think it was you that attached a copy of the rental agreement. Is that right?
Yes.
Do that? Okay. It's terms of the lease, July 1st, 2025. Commencing on July 30th, 2026. June 30th. And somehow, are you moved from the premises then? Is that what happened?
Yes, Your Honor. I was there I signed the lease on June 29th of 2025. I gave my move out notice on July 19th, 2025, and I officially handed over the keys on July 21st, 2025.
So yeah, before we get into a bunch, I just want to make sure I had the right time frame. I thought maybe I was missing some. Why don't both of you raise your right hands? It'd be easier that way for you. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Stam, so far that lease agreement, is that the lease agreement so far
Yeah.
to the terms? Okay. All right. And I'm sorry, I kind of begged a question from you then. So what happened in between this time period? You started leasing on July 1st, 2025, and then something happened.
Correct. Yes. I moved into the rental address with the $1,100 security deposit, $300 water deposit, vacated the unit on July 21st. Because I was unable to settle in there comfortably, I thought it would be best to get out of there sooner rather than later. And
Okay, so kind of stop there for me. What do you mean to get out of there sooner than later? I guess I'm not sure what that means.
Because I knew very early on that this wasn't a place I wasn't going to be able to settle in comfortably, I thought it best to bring it to his attention as soon as possible rather than drag it out.
Okay, so and I'm just going to kind of ask questions, kind of lead through a little bit for me. So did you have a discussion with Mr. Stam then? Is that what happened?
Yes, I gave him notice of
Go
I
ahead.
gave him notice of me moving out on July 19th. And I let him know that I wasn't able to settle in there comfortably. Because of that, I've come to the unfortunate decision of having to leave the home. I'd asked him about any type of security deposit, if I might be entitled back to one, even a partial one. And he did respond to that message.
Okay, so tell me how he responded. Just unless it's from somebody else, if it's from him, you can go ahead and tell me.
Yes. So after I had given him the notice that I was going to be moving out, he said on July 19th, sorry to hear you left so soon. I'm buying a house around the corner on Henry Street, but it will probably rent for $1,600 and maybe be about 60 days. So he offered me another home that was a little bit out of my price range. So I let him know on July 19th that if I didn't have my other land contract payment to worry about, that it might be something that would work for me. But I'm still planning on getting that home ready to sell, but I would follow up with him maybe at a later time. I told him I thank him so much for his understanding. I'll have the keys ready to return to you on Monday and we'll end the consumer service on that day. That's when I said, I also wanted to check about the security deposit. I'm not sure what the policy is in this situation, given the short stay, if I might be eligible for any refund, even a partial one. Which he responded that day and said, I can follow up with the landlord and see where everything stands.
Okay.
On
Okay,
July
so you
21st.
said
Oh, go ahead.
and I'm sorry, that was when? July?
That was July 19th when he said he would follow up with the landlord and see where everything stands.
Okay. Okay. And did you get any follow-up response
Not to
to
that.
that?
No, on July 21st, I asked about a separate matter about where should I return the key. He let me know where I could return it. That's when he actually did respond to that and said the seller would do a $500 deposit refund if we can get someone in there by August 15th. I can start showing it. I'll get it advertised right now. And that was on July 22nd.
Okay. July 20, I'm sorry, 22,
Yeah.
22nd?
Mhm.
Okay.
I confirmed that the same day. I acknowledged that I received that message, and then I didn't hear anything from him by August 15th. So I sent a follow-up text message on August 16th. On August 16th, that's when I said, hey, Eric, I hope you're doing well. I just wanted to follow up regarding the deposit we discussed. You had mentioned that $500 would be refunded if a new tenant was moved in by August 15th. Since that date has passed, I wanted to check and see if you were able to place a new tenant and what the next steps are regarding the deposit. Thank you for your time and keeping me updated. I did not receive a response to that message.
No response. Okay. And when you move, so you moved out on, where did I throw that here? Somewhere. You actually moved out on July 21st, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. When you moved out on that date, did you give a forwarding address?
So in our exchange, I didn't give a physical address, but in our exchange on the 19th, I made him aware that I was still responsible for the house that I had been purchasing on a land contract. And on the rental application, I had put down that address and I made a note that that was the house where I had been, I'd been buying on a land contract, but I had left the home temporarily due to a separation. So when I mentioned to him in my notice that I was going to move out, and he responded back offering the other home, and I declined it because I let him know that I was still responsible for the land contract with my other home. So he did have my forwarding address on hand and knew that's where I could be reached.
Okay, but no written. Again, we're kind of running the same kind of a little bit of an issue. No written forwarding address, anything like that.
Just me telling
Right.
him that I can be reached
Yeah.
at that home.
Okay, okay. So after this August 16th follow-up, you got no response, and then anything beyond that?
Yes, that's when I decided to actually email him. But I didn't receive a response to that either. That's when I took it a step further and I sent a certified demand letter. And that's when he had actually decided to text me back a screenshot of the email he then responded to at that point, after he had received the demand letter.
So when was the demand letter sent? And
The demand
did
letter
you do
was
that?
sent. I have the USPS receipt right here. It was on September 10th, 2025.
I'm sorry, September 25th?
September 10th, sorry.
Oh, 10th. I'm sorry. No, that was me. September 10th, 2025. Okay. So send on that letter. Do I have a copy of the letter in here someplace or not?
There should be, yes.
The text stuff. Yeah. Let's see. I've got a
If
the
you're unable,
responses you mentioned. I'm sorry.
oh, I was just gonna offer, if you're unable, if it isn't in the packet, I do have it available to screen share if you wanted to read it, or I could read it to you.
Sure, hold on. Let me just look forward here. Mr. Stam, did you acknowledge you received that demand letter that she's saying September 10th?
I
mean,
believe
we can
so. I have
talk
a
about it
copy
more,
of this, if that's what we're talking about here.
That's the claim. Yeah, that's the small claim. She's talking about a letter she sent demanding a refund on the
I'm
deposit.
sure I received that. I don't have a copy of it in front of me, but I
Okay.
recall receiving something prior to this.
Okay, okay. And if she said September 10th, does that sound
That
about
sounds agreeable.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Ma'am, how long is the letter? Is it just like a single
It's a single page, maybe a
paragraph
couple
page?
paragraphs.
Can you pull it up for both of us? Maybe just if you can do
Yeah.
that, that would
Absolutely.
be easier.
Did you want me to share my screen?
Yeah, yep, if you can for Mr. Sam too. I don't know that it's quite frankly gonna
Okay.
do much for you.
Can you see my screen?
Yep, I got there you
Oh.
go. There you go. Make formally request. Okay, so in your letter, let's just leave it there for a second. It says, I'm writing to formally request the return of my $500 partial security. You acknowledged in writing you agreed to refund 500. Is there someplace in writing I got that says, hey, I'm giving you 500 back?
Yeah, there was
From
screenshots of our
someone else?
text exchange.
Oh,
So
it's in
it's
that text.
Mhm.
Okay, so let me just look at that real quick there. Let's see, that was dated. Okay, and in the response, are you talking about the one that says any, he says, any of the locations is fine for the keys. Seller would do a $500 deposit refund if we can get someone in the place that's kind of blanked out there, August 15th. Is that the one that you're talking about? Or is there something more than that?
That was the written agreement as far as him letting me know that 500 would
Okay.
be returned.
Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, the one was kind of blanked out. Oh, I see it. The arrow over the top, and the next page got the full text. Okay. Okay, so that got sent, and then go from that point on. Then you sent that, and what about the $500 deposit? What happened at that point?
I was expecting for him to get a hold of me by August 15th to let me know if the unit had been re-rented, like he agreed he would.
Okay.
But I didn't hear from
Yep.
him by August 15th. So when I had followed up on August 16th, he didn't respond to my text message or my email. He only responded when I sent the demand letter via certified mail.
Okay. Did you get and so you get some kind of response after that, after a certified letter was sent, correct? What in a nutshell, what did that certified letter response, his response say?
He said, one moment.
And if you got it there, we'll look at that too, if it's different than what I've shown up here, or is this it?
So he responded to my certified mail by responding to the email that I had sent him prior to that, which he originally did not respond to at first.
Okay.
And that said, let me see here. So on September 10th, which it looks like that was the day he received the demand letter via certified mail, He said to
Yeah.
me via email, "Hi, Autumn, I'm not sure what to tell you about the certified letter here. I mean, the unit is still vacant and the itemized list would be due if you had completed your lease. The home is in capital condition without any lease violations for living conditions, and you signed a 12-month lease and moved in the first month. There was no entitlement of return deposit or other records to declare we have advertised the house consistently on Zillow with paid advertising, and alternatively at small claims court, we would be going after you for damages during the time it sits vacant. We have no intentions of doing that, and I assume have no need for further communication." Signed, Eric Stam.
Okay. Okay, and that was, let's see, September 10th, then, huh? Okay. And then what happened after that, after you received that? Anything else?
I
Or
did
was
not
that when you
respond to
filed?
that. Yes, that is when I took measures to gather my evidence and then file the claim. After I did actually file the small claim, I did receive a follow-up message from him again that I did not respond to. And that simply was him saying on Wednesday, October 22nd, because he was served on October 21st. The text message he wrote me was, "Hi, Autumn. Regarding 129 Maple Street in Flushing, I can assure you we are not doing this through small claims court for free. I'm turning this over to my lawyer and you can represent yourself or also choose to retain representation. The unit is still vacant and our attorney can send demand for your unpaid contractual rent for August and September that you are delinquent on." And then Monday, I'm sorry, last Monday, what was the date last Monday? Because my phone's not telling me. 1 week ago, on the 27th, he sent me a screenshot of a tenant ledger for 129 North Maple Street, and it shows that I am delinquent on rent for August, September, October, and November is pending.
Okay, wait, I'm sorry, August, September, October.
And on the ledger, it says that November is
Hmm.
pending, that I owe that also.
And when was this sent? September 10th, and that's for this year?
The ledger, I'm sorry, that was actually set on Monday, October 27th.
I'm sorry, so you received this on October 27th? Is that right?
The ledger, yes.
Yeah.
I had not seen that beforehand.
Okay. Was there any other language on there, just, or did you just receive the ledger?
There was language with it. All it said was for your attorney to review.
Oh, okay. And when did, let's see, so I guess to fill in a gap for me. Moved out July 21st. Where return keys? When did you actually return the keys?
And it was July 21st. I gave the notice on the 19th, return the keys on July 21st.
Returned. Where did you return the keys at?
They were in the window of the stairwell.
Window of the stairwell.
That was one of the areas he
Is that one
designated
of
I
the-
could leave it.
I was gonna say, was that one of them that was recommended?
Yes.
So the actual move out date was, what you're telling me, all put together was that July 21st date. That's when you returned the keys in the stairwell area. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. Okay. So, right, gosh, the next day, the July 22nd date, there's the conversation about the $500 deposit being refunded, right? Or at least you questioned it. You questioned, hey, can I receive $500 deposit?
Yeah,
Right?
I would have been okay with that.
Okay. And then no follow-up and and deposit back on September 10th. Okay, I apologize. I'm kind of flip-flopping around, but the response to asking for 500 back, when did you get that response that says if we could get someone moved in by August 15th? When
Let
did
me
you get
see.
that?
I received that on July 22nd.
Oh, that was the 22nd. Okay, I'm sorry. That was my fault then.
Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like when I asked about, yeah, returning do you want me to return the key or should I leave it in the apartment? That was on the 21st. He responded the next day on the 22nd saying any of those locations is fine. The seller would do a $500 deposit refund if we can get someone in there by August 15th.
Okay, that response was on July 22nd. So actually, did you return the keys on that July 22nd then?
No, I had returned them on July 21st.
Oh, you did okay. You did
Mhm.
anyways, and then you got this response. Okay, all right. Okay. And then that leads us to today. So you're basically wanting your security deposit back plus double based on the statute.
Yes, Your
Is that right?
Honor.
All right, let me hear from
Yes.
let me hear from Mr. Stam. Mr. Stam,
Yes, sir.
she had a lease agreement that was cut short, I guess. The terms were July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. She alerted you that she was gonna move out. It looks like she moved out the July 21st date. Is that part true up to that point?
Yes.
Okay. And help me out with, actually, is this property that, are you just managing this property or is this something that
Yeah, I don't
Stan
own it. I
Realty?
just manage it.
Yeah, okay. And this is, make sure I got the right address for both of you, I guess. It's 129 North Maple Street, Flushing. That's the residence. Is that
Unit
right?
one.
Okay. Yeah, oh, is it broken into 2 units or something? Is that,
3 unit
I thought I heard
triplex.
stairwell, I guess. I'm sorry,
3 unit
it's
triplex.
3 units? Okay. So you get back to her, it sounds like you get back to her on July 22nd. It says, listen, the owners would be inclined to give a $500 deposit refund if they could get somebody in by August 15th.
Yeah, we were just trying
Right
to
at
keep
that,
things friendly
yeah,
and, and the reality was it's still vacant, even though it's on Zillow and Facebook. It is a 3 unit, not super desirable. She, mentions that, something about not moving in comfortably being why she moved out. Um, you know, no one's here to speculate. I don't
yeah.
think it matters why she moved out. We had a lease for 12 months, and page 1, line 5 addresses the security deposit. Letter B says past due rent and rent due for premature termination of this lease that the deposit could be applied to. Premature termination of the lease.
In fact, you beat me to the punch. I was gonna ask if there's language in with regard to early termination. That's it right there. Past due rent due for premature termination of lease.
And utility bills, to which the water bill was never put in her name, so we don't have a way of articulating a direct amount, which it was per the lease supposed to be put into her name. And that would be on page 3. So a lot of this,
I'm sorry, on page 3, what am I looking at then? I see a whole
just
bunch
where
of.
it says municipal water and it has a checkbox for
Oh,
tenant.
yeah,
Yeah.
for tenant, yep, okay, okay.
So that implied a requirement to transfer water into her name.
So what, help me out a little bit then. We've got a security deposit of $1,100, and then was there also a deposit for $300 for utilities? Is that what it was?
Yeah, correct.
And you're telling me under oath that there's nobody in this unit as of today?
That is true. Units 1 and 2 have somebody. Unit 3 does, or unit 3 and 2 has someone. Unit 1 does not. It's the upstairs unit. It is often slower to rent out being the upstairs unit.
Okay. Is the water bill, Ms. Nemitz, maybe do you have the water bill still, or did you get it turned off in your name?
No, he made me aware that that was something he was going to handle. In the break room that we just did, he let me know that it was actually never put in my name and it's still in the previous tenant's name.
Yeah, okay, so that was kind of where that part ended. Mr. Stam, is that right? For
Well,
that
yeah,
too?
but yeah, the obligation was just like she called
Yeah,
consumers
no.
energy, electric and gas. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, that last part, if it's in the owner's, the
The
property
water,
owner's
she was
name,
supposed to take her lease to the city of Flushing and put the water
yeah,
in her name so that she could then
yeah,
receive the bill.
There was a
yeah.
misunderstanding because I was under the impression that he told me he was actually going to be the one to do that.
So I guess, help me out, when you first had the lease, Ms. Nevis, who's been, there was some water usage, I would think, right, for that period?
Correct, yes.
What, did you get a water bill, or did Mr. Stam, did you get the water bill?
And it
Or
looks
Yeah,
like that was
I
still,
always get the water bill. I have a like $430 water bill. That's not saying it's from her, but I don't have a way of deciphering because it was never stopped and started in her name. So it's just a continuation of a quarterly water bill.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So nobody, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but so it just never got changed over and the water bill just kept coming. It was being paid through the owner, I guess in a fund of some sort. Is that what it was?
Yes.
yeah,
Yep.
and I was under the impression that he was actually going to be taking care of that. There was a distinction with the
Yeah.
electrical. I went and I got that put in my name beforehand. If I would have known that that's
Yeah.
what I had to do with the water, I would have gladly done that.
Yeah, sure. And I'm not pointing either way. It just seems like that one there is just a little miscommunication one way or the other. The problem's going to be, Ms. Nevis, from your standpoint, actually from both of you, Mr. Stam, there's no way it's just one, I guess, community bill. Is that what it comes out to be? How
Oh
do
no,
they do
we've
it?
paid Staley's Plumbing. Everyone's separately utility for
Oh, okay. Okay,
electric, gas meters, and water meters are all. There's 3 separate of everything there.
okay. So we're not running into that issue. What's the water bill usage at, I guess, at this point, do you know?
Well, it's been vacant, and so the 3 weeks she's in there, it's hard to speculate what did it spike during the 3 weeks. But I do have a bill. This was really kind of a smaller point of the situation.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just, I think that's probably,
$424.16 is the last bill that we received.
that unit for her unit.
Yes, sir.
Well, I know that the consumer's bill that was racked up during the time that I was there was less than $100. So for 3 weeks of water usage, if the bill was 400 something, I can imagine that
Yeah.
was a lot of back pay from the previous tenant.
Well, it's not previous tenant, it's just a quarterly bill. So it's been vacant for that time. So
Yeah. So, Mr. Sam, I guess help me out a little bit because I'm gonna have to make a decision for two things. They're kind of two separate things. The water bill is another little issue compared to the security deposit. How are we gonna figure out what was owed for, even if it was up to today? How can we figure out what's owed on that unit?
well, it's tough. That's what I'm suggesting. I mean, the difficulty is because it wasn't started and stopped. I mean, you could try to do a
Yeah,
90-day pro rata, but one would assume that the 90 days would have a greater velocity during the time it was occupied versus the time it was
sure.
vacant.
Yep, sure.
But the aggregate number is 424.16.
Okay, all right.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yeah, sure.
Because the landlord didn't return the deposit or provide an itemized list within 30 days, he forfeited the right to keep any of it, of the deposit under Michigan law.
Right. Well,
Which
we're
is
gonna
allowed by
get to,
MCL
yeah,
554.613.
yeah, no, we're gonna get to that, but right now I'm just trying to figure out potential damages one way or the other, because you got security deposits separate from the water bill, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna double a water bill for anybody, one way or the other. And I'm not saying that this water bill is yours either. I'm just trying to figure out potentially what got used during that one period, if it's even comes into play. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. Okay.
It might be worth finding out when the tenant before myself had moved out. I don't know if it was anytime soon before I got there where the usage might have been on the same quarterly bill as during the time I was there.
Yeah. Mr. Stam, can you help me out with that even? I don't even know if you can you do that?
Let me look and see.
Is that too hard to, and I'm making too much out of this one small, quite frankly, issue, but
I know that even in my home, when I have 5 people running the waters with 2 showers, we don't even see $200 a month for a full month's usage.
yeah. Ms. Nemitz, I should ask you, since we're kind of going in a little detail with this thing, who else was living there?
It was me and my 3 children, ages 10,
Okay.
9, and then at the time 5 months old.
Okay, I'm not that I'm gonna be able to calculate anything out with that, but okay. All right. If
I
you
don't
can't do it,
I'm
Mr.
not
Stam,
gonna have
there's
that
that,
readily available.
yeah.
I'm
It's really
becoming-
probably not worth spending a ton of time on. I just thought if we had figures,
Yeah, I don't want to be like the last guy for pennies here.
yeah, I know. I appreciate that. Okay. So help me out, Mr. Stam, from your side. She's saying, listen, I ought to get my security deposit back. I mean, I'm not, we're talking about, she's talking about double, but let's just stick with the security deposit period. There was obviously she shortened her lease agreement, and you've mentioned the terms of, where was it here? I
Well,
just
they're
saw
in
it again. 5. Security deposit number 5B. Past due rent due for premature termination of this lease. What your position is what? Why don't you tell me in your words what you think I should be doing?
Well, I'm looking at a 12-month lease that there's no material defect in the property. There was no breach of contract on our side. It just became more convenient, it sounds like, for her to return back to possibly some personal matter that resolved, allowing her back into her other home. But I'm not an Airbnb, I'm not a short-term rental, and it's a 12-month contract. And we were trying to be friendly up front, suggesting if we could have rented it, but we didn't rent it. And now we're here in court asking for 2 times the amount, which then I would be paying people to live for 3 weeks for free. It's beside me that this is a consideration even in the United States of America, where someone would potentially be in a situation to live for free for 3 weeks, not for free, but be paid to be in my premises for 3 weeks. It's kind of wild.
To be fair, Your Honor, I would have been completely all right with only $500 back of it, out of the $2,500 that I had given him to stay there. But when he didn't respond to any of my messages just to see what was going on, and he didn't reach out to me, I took that as he was avoiding me. And I really would have liked for it to not have to come to this.
When you say 2,500 though, you're talking about 1,100 for the first month that you actually live there, right? Plus your
Yes.
security deposit, that gets you 2,200. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and then I included the 300
And
water
the
deposit as well.
Yeah,
So
and then the
2,500.
300. Yeah, yeah. So your argument, and again, I'm not and argue with either one of you with it, but how is it right that if you're arguing that you shouldn't have to pay for the month that you were there? How are you telling me that when you're saying, well, you paid 2,500 and you left? How's that fair?
I'm sorry, the first part of your sentence, the first part of your sentence kind of broke in and out a little bit. Could you repeat
Yeah.
it for me?
Yeah, you said there was, well, you've paid 2,500 for this place, and I understand where the breakdown is. But if 1,100 right off the top was for that first month that you're actually really honestly there, we're not talking that you actually paid that. That was something you owe, period, regardless of what I do, right?
Right. I guess the way I saw it was because I hadn't even stayed there that first full month. I
Yeah.
was hoping that I could even get at least some of the deposit back. I was willing to let go the first month's rent as long as maybe I could hopefully get even a partial deposit. And I would have been all right with just that 500 of the deposit. But then it felt like he was intentionally avoiding me by not responding to my messages and not reaching out within 30 days with that itemized list of deductions.
Okay, so how, and for your sake, give me some kind of argument. How do you figure that you're owed any security deposit back when you prematurely, left the unit? Help me out with that. Why should you get anything back at all?
Because at any point of me leaving the unit, for whatever reason it was, he's still required by law to provide me that itemized list of deductions. And because he did not, he forfeited
But we're
his,
talking about rent. He's not claiming any damages.
right. I'm just saying in the grand scheme of things, I paid 2,500 to live there essentially for 3 weeks. And that just seems like for him to keep my full deposit when I wasn't even there for the entire first month of the rent that I paid for. To me, that doesn't seem fair.
Okay. All right.
But the full term of the lease, we're out $25,000.
How about Mr. Stam? How from your side too? Help me out with part of her argument is and I'm not. She's telling me that, hey, listen, I got let on a bit. I'm thinking I'm getting a $500 deposit back if the place can get rented, and then she gets no response from anybody for quite a period of time. So in her mind, she's saying, listen, this thing's dragging on not because of me, but because of no response. Help me out with that.
Well, I've always been taught sometimes less is more, and talking to her right now is the most I've talked to her. And I deal with a lot of people. I'm making decisions real quick from one, like, maybe 15-minute engagement that sure you can move into, a very expensive property that costs to have and to own.
Mhm.
And so, it's just that less is more. And so I started feeling like there was this angle coming for like, one, I'm just taken back by someone's expecting money to breach my contract. And so
Okay.
it was just kind of like, I didn't want to say more for entrapping myself because I know that she's savvy. One of her letters, in my opinion, felt like it was written by ChatGPT that referenced the state code. It was, and so then I'm like, so clearly she knows from Facebook Marketplace, she makes reference to seeing it was on there as sold into America Active, which was done right away. I know that she's seen online that it was still being marketed, that it was still empty on Zillow and on Facebook Marketplace. So it was just like asking for this free money. There was nothing to say.
Okay. My other question, in fact, you just hit on it a little bit too. What part of it, her argument is, listen, as a not you, but the owner isn't landlord, you're obligated to mitigate your damages by getting it back on the market and renting. My question is, has this been when she left, was it all automatically put back on the market?
It was within like 48 hours, it was back on.
Okay. And has it
Yep.
been on the market ever since?
Absolutely. Yep.
And is it, I guess, the way you're marketing, is it the same as what it was prior to her renting it? Same kind of marketing scheme? Is that what
It
you're doing?
is. Yeah. It's very consistent on Zillow and Facebook. I show it. A lot of people don't like the stairs. It's also a threeplex and there's limited parking. even though the city of Flushing has 2 public parking lots. So there's a lot of things to consider there where it's not just a house, but it's a threeplex with some limited parking. Now the parking is there, and people do have parking, and there's also not a washer and dryer there, and so people are having to take their laundry up and down the stairs, and sometimes they don't. I don't think that they fully realize that until the first day laundry's due, and then they gotta
Yeah.
go up and down the stairs.
Have you
So it's
had
not the
people through
easiest to rent back out.
have you had people looking at it, at least coming through?
Yeah, we do, and still do.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
All right. All right, guys, I think unless there's something else, either one, I'll give you a chance to give me anything else. I'm ready to take a break and look at what I've got and make a
All set,
decision.
sir. Thank you.
All
All
set? Okay, all right. You guys being easier with me. All right, hold on. Be right back. Okay, we can go back on the record with Autumn Nemitz versus Eric Stam, Team Real Estate. Have had a chance to review notes regarding this matter. The lease agreement itself, lease agreement is specific with regard to security deposit. It says in part that the landlord is not obligated to apply this deposit to rent or other charges in arrears. Landlord may use this deposit for actual damages that are result of conduct not reasonably expected in the normal course of living in the dwelling. We don't have an issue with that today. We do have past due rent and rent due for premature termination of this lease and utility bills that are responsibility of the tenant and not paid by the tenant. Tenant may be liable for damages over and above the amount of the security deposit. Do you find that this was a lease that was taken out by the parties, agreed to with Autumn Nemitz to rent the property between July 1st of 2025 through June 30th, 2026. She decided to terminate that lease early. And in fact, testimony is she moved out on July 21st, 2025. Is the obligation of the landlord to mitigate damages with regard to trying to re-rent the premises. I do find that landlord was on notice at that point to try to re-rent it, and I've heard testimony that it's been reasonably attempted to re-rent based upon the actions it took before Ms. Nemitz had rented the place, and currently today there's testimony that it's been on the market since Ms. Nemitz terminated her agreement. There was no issue with keys being returned, and therefore the move-out date that I officially are using for today's purposes that July 21st, well, actually, yeah, July 21st, 2025. The keys were returned on the window of the stairwell as agreed upon. But nonetheless, landlord does get a right to use that security deposit for rent owed, and I do find that rent was owed for at least that 1 month. There was some talk back and forth with regard to hopefully giving her a $500 deposit refund if they could get it re-rented. The apartment is still not being rented. That is regard to the security deposit. We have another unusual situation with water. It was the obligation of the tenant to pay water bills. The water service was never turned over into her name. Find that just it was a miscommunication between the parties. Nonetheless, there was some water used for that first month rent, and there was quite frankly, nobody can give me a figure on what the usage of water was for that time period. But Ms. Nemitz did make a statement too that as far as she knows, as many times as she's paid water bills in the past, it was about $200 per month, which seems like a reasonable amount. She does have children living with her, or did at this residence. And she's was obligated for the water bill, but nobody's given me a water bill actually. But she was there for that first month. I do believe there's some money that should be given back to the landowner for that usage. I'm taking $100 for that month that was being used for water. Damages to Autumn Nemitz in the amount of $200 plus filing fee of $70. And Ms. Nemitz, do you have a certified mailing? How much was a certified mailing?
I believe it was about 13 and change.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It seems like it's 13, so. Cost of $83 for a total of $283 judgment. That's just on the water bill, Mr. Stam, for your records. That's regarding that water bill, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Her usage. Unfortunately, you can't give me a figure, so
Understood.
just give me that. 283 to Autumn Nemitz, okay? And I'll send out a judgment to both of you. All right? Good luck to both of you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your
Yeah,
Honor.
you're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. Bye now.
Bye.